Hello everyone. We will start class 6 NCERT history and we will look on the content of the class 6 NCERT. So what is past? There are several kinds. We can find out what people ate, what kinds of class they wore, the houses in which they live. We can find out the lives of hunters, herders, farmers, rulers, merchants, priests, crafts, person, artists, etc. And we can know that where did people live. People generally live nearby bank river, so they can uh, survive easily, and without water it's not possible to survive. So people used to live nearby uh, bank river. And if you will trace the river in the Sanage tributary, so you can get that about 47 years ago some of the earliest city flourished in the banks of the river. Later, about 2500 years ago, city developed on the bank of the Ganga and its tributaries, and along the sea coast locate the Ganga and its tributary called the Swan. So why do people travel nowadays? Hills, mountains, and seas from the natural frontiers of the subcontinent. While it was difficult to cross their frontiers, those who wanted could not and did scale the mountains and cross the sea. People from across the frontiers also came into subcontinent. So names of the land. Two of the words we often use for our country, India and Bharat. The word India comes from the Indus, called Sindhu in Sanskrit. Find Iran and Greece in your atlas. So the Iranians and the Greeks who came through the northwest about 2500 years ago and were familiar with the Indus, called it Indus or the Indus. And the land in the east of the river was called India. The name Bharat was used for a group of people who lived in the northwest and who were mentioned in the Rig Veda. The earliest composition in Sanskrit dated to about 3500 years ago. Later, it was used for the country. So you should know names of the land section. That this is a very important for your exam point of view. So two of the words we often use for your country are India and Bharat. The word India comes from the Indus called Sindhu in Sanskrit. So you should uh, point out this section. And can you think the advantage of writing on a hard surface and what could have been the difficulty? There were many other things that were made and used in the past. Those who study these objects are called archaeologists. They study the remains of buildings made of stone and brick, paintings and sculpture. They also explore and excavate to find tools, weapons, pots, pans, ornaments, and coins. Some of these objects may be made of stone, other of bone, wood, clay, or metal. Objects that are made of hard, imperishable substance usually survive a long. So we are trying to know that what was past, and now I will look at that one past or many. Did you notice the title of this book, Our Past? The chapter uh, of the book in which this chapter is existed. The theme of the book is Our Past. So we have used the word past in plural to draw attention to the fact that the past were different for different groups of people. For example, the lives of herders or farmers were different from those of kings and queens. The lives of merchants were different from those of craftspersons, and so on. Also, as it's true even today, people follow different practices and customs in different parts. So there were past, but the groups in those past were different, and their living styles were different, and their authority were different, and so on. So there were many parts as per the group of people. What do dates mean? If somebody asks you the date, you will probably mention the day, month, and year, 2000 and something. These years are counted from the date generally assigned to the birth of Jesus Christ, the founder of Christianity. So 2000 means 2000th year of the death of 2000 years after the birth of Christ. All dates before the birth of Christ are counted as backwards and usually have the letters BC, before Christ, added on. In this book, we will refer to the dates going back from present using 2000 as our starting point. So we should know letters with dates. BC we have seen stands for before Christ. You will sometime find AD before that. This stands for two Latin words, Anno Domini, meaning in the year of the Lord, that is Christ. So 2005 can also be written as AD 2005. Sometimes C used instead of AD and BC instead of BC. The letter C stands for Common Era and BC for Before Common Era. We use these terms because the Christian era is now used in most countries of the world. In India, we began using this form of dating from about 200 years ago, and sometimes the letter BC meaning before present are used. And and uh, so we should know about what is the exact meaning of VC and VCEAD, and so we can know what are the dating methods. And by this we have come to end of this chapter, and we will continue this series. Thank you.